Hello, Jeff. How are you doing there?
I'm doing well, and thanks for coming in this Friday.
You know, it's a great ride coming up here from the corridor of Thurston and Mason County. It's a beautiful scene, and it just feels so good to be here in Mason County at Fiber One News. And
so you were coming up as the sun probably coming up, and it's a beautiful at Kennedy Creek out there.
It's absolutely great. It's great to be here in the Northwest like that.
It is really nice. We got some things to talk about. The dedication to the triage center was yesterday. Going to open the doors on the 1st of September. Also some mobile crisis team updates and other BHO things. What have you been up to? Sounds busy.
We are just making progress like crazy here in Thurston, Mason County. You know, I just want to harken back to, you know, we have one of the best security apparatuses here. The military in the United States of America have a great road infrastructure. We do great stuff like that. But it's now a change in terms of helping individuals out and families out, and even the workforce as a whole, by addressing mental health and chemical dependency. And so Thurston Mason is absolutely on the cutting edge and wants to be number one in terms of helping those individuals out there in that sense. And so, yesterday we were fortunate enough to open up the Thurston Mason Mental Health Triage Center. I know it's a mouthful, but it really does make a statement where we're at in the progress of this. So if you go back to, specifically in Thurston County, we opened up the jail last year, got that taken care of. So that's kind of a step one or part A. And now that we have the Mental Health Triage Center, that's a kind of a step two in the whole process of bringing tools to the community to be able to help those individuals and families, like I mentioned a second ago. And more importantly, this triage center is geared or designed to help law enforcement, in the sense that if there's a scene where law enforcement shows up on the say an incident or a home or whatever, and not quite sure where the crime is or where it isn't, and then they take them to this triage and have an evaluation done, maybe for 72 hours or less, they may or may not go to jail because we can divert them away and not fill the jails up with those who do not need to be in the jail. So that's what it's designed for, to be able to put that extra layer in there. I know it's another layer in terms of systems, but it's absolutely critical that we don't put people in jail just because they have a mental health issue, and then divert them away and then give them a case manager of some sort, and then put them back into the community or their home where they need to be. And for those who do need to go to jail, obviously those steps are still in place, and they would probably go to jail. So this is what this is about.
So this is a kind of I think that this is kind of a recent change in the way that we are adjudicating folks. You know, there was a lot of times, bring them in, throw them in jail, bring them in, throw them in jail, throw them in jail.
Right.
Where did the shift come from to then go, wait a second, there may be something else we can do here? When did that start coming about?
You have to go back to the 70s, late 70s and 80s, believe it or not, to answer that question, where we institutionalized everybody in that sense. And then we said, oh my gosh, we can't do that. And then we kind of sort of, for our conversation's sake, we kind of threw them in the streets, if you will, figuratively speaking, and sometimes realistically. And now they've kind of come to the community, but now the community as a whole says, well, we have them, but we haven't quite understood where that problem is kind of a burden on us. But it's not that we can't handle it, we just need the extra assistance. So when you do facilitate structural changes like this, and so that they don't go into the jail, because that's kind of been the answer in the last 5 to 10 years, is just throw them in the jail or the emergency rooms. That's another place where they go and then take up room there. But now we have this point where we can actually put care into the system by triaging them and then putting a case manager or some other form of assistance to assist the family and the individual at the same time.
Have you read reports or studies on the long-term effects of this, both for cost savings for the counties, but also for the health of the people who either would have been in jail or on the streets, but now they're on a path to...
Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. It just off the top of my head, it's about $110 a person in jail when we have them in jail. And whether it be 1 day or 1 year, all that adds up when you have a population of, say, 260,000 in Thurston County, I know for sure. And then when the population grows, you're increasing your people coming to the jail, and we do not want that. So I don't know what it is as far as a total dollar amount, but you can just see right there. And then when you say that help out the workforce in terms of if a person needs to get employment, then you can rehabilitate them or put them back into the workforce instead of putting them into a jail. So it's a win-win benefit. You just got to be able to put those systems into place, and that's what we've been able to do.
So currently, how does Mason County involve themselves with this? There will be, let's say, an incident occurs in the Shelton city limits. The Shelton police arrive, and then what happens next?
Yeah, Shelton police arrives, and now there is a mobile crisis team for that Shelton police to rely on. They will also arrive at the scene. Of course, the law enforcement has jurisdiction over the entire scene. But if there's not if it's just a mental health issue at that point and not a criminal, then the mobile crisis team can take that individual or individuals to a place where they can seek mental health care instead of being taken to a jail or emergency room of some sort. That's the first step, is be able to take care of it on site, and then we can do the proper layering or systematic way of taking care of the individual as a whole. So with the mobile crisis team, we're also from the behavioral health organization are pursuing a grant, and we're very close to finalizing that grant to open up a diversion house or a triage center here in Mason County.
Oh, wow.
A little bit smaller in scale for what we have in Thurston County, but at least it's a good start. And that way we have a two-pronged attack in terms of Mason and Thurston working together to help out those who are in need.
So it's going to open on the 1st, which is next week.
Yeah, in Thurston County.
And so then we'll get you back in at the end of September to kind of see how the month went with that. What are some other things going on? I know recently, this week, there was a tragedy with the Thurston County Sheriff, John Snazza. Mary Lynn Foster is reporting on it this morning.
Yeah.
He's out of surgery.
Yes.
Have you heard anything new about this?
You know, I haven't in the last, say, 24 to 18 hours, but I know for a fact that he is such a strong individual. He's got a great spirit in him. He's full of life, and that man will fight through this and come back and he is absolutely a critical asset to not only Thurston County, but Mason County as a whole. He in Lewis County, oh, by the way, because of his brother, they play a critical role in terms of keeping crime down and security, keeping people safe here in Thurston County. So our prayers and thoughts are with him, and we wish him the speediest recovery in the world.
My goodness.
And bring him home. We
Could
need him
not
back.
believe that. Could not believe hearing that this week. 6:49, iFiber 1 News Radio. We're talking with Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake. And for those who are listening maybe the first time, Bud, talk to us again about what your district area is. It's the one that is right up against Mason County.
Yeah, that's why I love Mason County. 3rd District is the western side of Thurston County, and we have a lot in common in terms not only just the behavioral health, which Commissioner Jeffries and myself have been working on, but some of the roads and some of the other things, such as the fish industry, shellfish industry. We do a lot of other stuff like that. But I'll come back and brief you on some of those things if you want.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Very exciting how Thurston and Mason works together.
And then you showed me this thing, inviting folks to the family support. Why don't you give a little plug to this right now?
Yeah, on October 4th at 5:30 at the Tap Room, we are having what we call the 100-man care, and I will invite every male to come and join me in terms of rallying against domestic violence. The male population needs to stand up and has a voice in this to tell other males out there who are committing domestic violence issues at home or at work or wherever to cease and desist. It's just not necessary. It's not for this country or society to be able to put up with that, and I would invite everybody to come.
So Tuesday, October 4th at the Ole Tap Room on Columbia Street. No need to RSVP. You can get some more information at fscss.org, and event is 21 and up, but we'll remember to remind folks about that for sure. Let you get out of here for the rest of the day. Have a good weekend.
Yeah,
How's Bama doing?
Alabama is going to be there, and it's going to be a great season.
Oh, my
Roll
God.
Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, Bud. Good to talk with you.
All right, Jeff. Thank you.
6:52 at iFiber 1 News Radio.
Hi, this is Mark Hemstreet, owner of Shiloh Inn.